Hello, this is your teacher, Mr. McDougall, with your next Premiere Pro tutorial. In this one, I'm going to show you how to make a little bit more of an elaborate intro sequence. Our final product is going to look kind of something like this.
Hey now, I am Mr. McDougall and I am the advanced graphics instructor here, and I am super thrilled to see you here. Here you will get to take your knowledge from the intro class.
So what you can see here is it's just like the talking head we did before, except I've added more to it. There's some music, we got captions, we have B-roll, we got a graphic that pops up. We're going to do a lot of stuff like that. However, that doesn't require a lot of steps. So I've actually broken this entire project into 4 parts. So we're just going to focus on one part at a time, so it doesn't feel like too much. So this first part, we're just going to talk about syncing the audio and making our cuts. And then later parts we'll get into B-roll and music and all that stuff. But we'll just do it one at a time. At the end of each of these parts, you're not going to export anything. You're just going to save your project, and then we're going to export it at the very end. So at the end of this part 1, you're not turning anything in. You're just going to save it until we get ready for part 2. So this first assignment will have all of your exercise files. So download all your exercise files and open them up into a new project in Premiere Pro, which will be intro sequence. So you can see you have a lot of files to play with this time. You have a lot that are called B-roll. And the ones we're going to get started on are these 3 audio ones and these 3 talking head ones. So the first thing that we're going to do is put down the talking head videos onto our timeline in order. So we have talking head 1, 2, and 3. Take those and put them in order on your timeline. Leave a little bit of space this time instead of putting them back to back. You see how I spaced them out? And I'll show you why in just a second. But leave a little bit of a gap because they're going to move around slightly. And I'm going to, that looks good. So I have 1, 2, and 3. So I could zoom out so I could see all of them at the same time. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to sync audio so we have better audio. So this is the raw footage of me talking to the camera. Again, we went over talking head in the previous assignment. This is what a talking head looks like again.
Hey now, I'm Mr. McDougall and I am the advanced graphics instructor here.
So you could see with this one I shot 2 different kinds of audio because this audio is straight out of camera, which is why it sounds so bad.
Hey now, I'm Mr. McDougall and I am the advanced graphics instructor here.
You can hear that it sounds like I'm really far away from the camera, that it sounds very echoey. That's because if you shoot audio and you only record it straight into your camera or into your phone, those things are not built to get specific audio or clean audio. So that's why it sounds like it's just gathering all the noise in the room and it's gathering all this stuff and I sound like I'm really far away. The clean audio is going to be these audio tracks right here. So you have your 3 video clips and you have 3 audio clips because there's a matching audio for each one. So now let's take talking audio number 1. I'm going to bring that onto my timeline. Remember, audio can only go on the bottom. Make sure it goes on to track A2 right here. Don't put it on track A1 because then you will cover up the original audio and delete it. Now if I try to move it, that original audio is gone. I overrid it and I delete it. So be careful not to do that. I'm going to Control Z to go back. Take the audio and put it on track number 2 underneath track number 1. Okay, so let's do the same thing on talking audio 2. Bring that one right here. Put that one under track video 2. And then audio 3 is going to go under video 3. And you can see they're all roughly the same length. They're not exactly the same length because it depends on when I press the record button. But we're going to synchronize them now. So now what you'll hear is this audio matches this audio, but this one's cleaner. So when I play them, they're going to play at the same time, but they're going to be a little offset because they'll play back to back.
Hey now, I'm Mr. McDougall and I am the advanced graphics instructor here. And I am the advanced graphics instructor here.
So you can tell that they are the exact same audio, but now I need to sync them up because they're out of sync. I want to sync up the 2 audios so they match exactly. And in Premiere Pro, it's super easy to do. All we need to do is we're going to click and drag our mouse to highlight both clips. We're going to highlight the video and this audio one. So with this one, I'm going to, with both of them selected, I'm going to right click on them, come up here to this one that says synchronize. Click synchronize. By default, it'll be on clip start. We want to take this one, we want to put track audio track channel, and by default yours will be on track 1. So just click on the audio track channel, leave it on track 1, and then click OK, and watch what happens to these tracks down here when I click OK. See, they all moved over slightly. and the audio's actually synced up. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see. I'm going to extend these tracks a little bit as well so you can see the audio waves. But now watch what happen. I'll play them both, and they're both going to play in sync, so you're going to hear a little bit of an echo.
Hey now, I'm Mr. McDougall, and I am the advanced graphics instructor here.
There you go. So now both are playing at the same time, but you don't hear it offset like it was before because now they're synced up. Another way you can tell that they're synced up is if you look at the audio waves, you can see how they're matching. See how there's this spike right here, these little mountains of waves, they're all in line with each other. So that's how I could tell that they are synced up.
Sound file 1.
Perfect. So that sounds good. And the reason I did that sound file 1 clap, I'll explain in the next project. So this was the original audio.
Hey now, I'm Mr. McDougall, and I am the advanced graphics instructor here.
And then this is how it's going to sound with the clean audio.
Hey now, I'm Mr. McDougall, and I am the advanced graphics instructor here.
So you can already hear how much cleaner it sounds. So to isolate and only hear this audio, we're just going to mute track number 1. So track A1 right here with all the original camera audio. We're not going to delete any of it. I want to keep it just in case I need to resync later for whatever reason. But I'm just going to hit this M to mute it. So now all of track A1, which is all the bad camera audio, is now muted, and I'm only hearing the good audio. And you can hear what a difference it sounds like.
Hey now, I'm Mr. McDougall, and I am the advanced graphics instructor here.
Much cleaner, not much of an echo. There's a little bit of a hum from the air conditioner, but we'll do our best to clean that up a little bit later. Right now, we just want to focus on syncing them. So after that, you're going to do the same thing with the other 2 tracks. So same thing with track video 2 and audio 2. You're going to select them both, right click, synchronize. Should already be on track 1, audio, just click OK. And they will sync up just like that. This is the reason I had you leave gaps in between, because you can see they're all scooting over just a little bit. So it's best to leave a slight gap. And then lastly, let's do it with track 3. Synchronize. Okay. This one will take the longest just because it's the longest clip, but it should only take a few seconds. And you can tell, again, you can see the audio waves and how they're matching. That means we are synced up. So the next part that we're going to do is we're going to cut out all of the mistakes. Just like in the first talking head video I gave you in the previous lesson, this one is the raw footage. It's full of mistakes. So I need to isolate the good parts and cut out all the bad parts. The important difference in this one is we need to make 2 cuts on the video and the audio. We need to cut them both at the same time. So if I'm going to keep this part.
Hey now, I'm Mr. McDougall, and I am the advanced graphics instructor here.
So if I'm going to keep that part, if I go to my razor tool and I make a cut, I need to make sure that I cut the video and I cut the audio down here. So I cut both of them. So if I go back here, if I make a cut on the video, but I forget to cut the audio, then they're going to be out of sync like that. And I got to be careful that they're not out of sync. So now this little piece is not synced up anymore. So what I want to do is cut both of them. Make sure you cut the audio as well. And now you can delete the bad part. So when you move these, keep these together. Select both of these clips that I think are good and move them together. If I only highlight one, now they're out of sync again. So be careful of that. Keep them synced up and together. So now we'll go through just like we did in the previous lesson and cut out all of the bad parts or the parts where I make a mistake until you're left with the nice clean version of the video. So let's do that part now. Okay, so cut it down, and again, pause the video if you need to get to that point to where you can match up with me. But if you're not done cutting it down, please start cutting it down until you get to about 1 minute. So again, the raw footage adds up to like 9 to 10 minutes, but we're cutting out all the mistakes, so all we're left with is the good stuff.
Hey now, I'm Mr. McDougall, and I am the advanced graphics instructor here. Here you will get to take your knowledge from the intro class and use it to create some brand new content. You will really get to let your imagination flow and take your skills to the next level.
So again, all those mistakes you saw, it's like they never happened because we cut it together. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take it one step further with our cuts. Move my thing so it's not on a weird part of my face. But what we're going to do now is we're going to make some little jump cuts. So instead of just regularly jump cutting and the camera doesn't move, in between the cuts, we're going to do a little push in on the face. So in order to do that, and we're going to alternate between that because you see that a lot in YouTube videos and content nowadays. In order to do that, we are going to add a couple of things to our program monitor right here. So on your program monitor, which is this one, you're going to come over to the plus sign, click on the plus sign over here, and we're going to add a couple of guides or buttons down to this little area right here. So this is our button editor. So not all the buttons are here, only the more important ones, but there's some we're going to add. We're going to take these two right here. So this one, the show rulers, click and drag it down here to drop it right there. And this show guides, same thing, drag it and drop it right there, and then click OK. So now we've added these two buttons, and then click both of them to turn them on. They'll get grayed out like that, and you can see now we have this little ruler and these edges. So what we're going to do now is if you bring your mouse up to the top, as long as you have the show guides turned on, bring your mouse up to the top right here to where your mouse changes, and you're going to click and drag it down. Drag it down to about my eye level. That's where you want it. You can see I move my head around a little bit, but for the most part it stays right there. I'm going to go up just a little higher, right about there. So you can see, even though I move my head a lot to keep it engaging, it's roughly around where my eye level is. Okay, so that's good. So that will stay consistent. So that guide will show me where my matching eye line is. So now what we're going to do on every other clip, so this is the first clip, this is the second, third, fourth, on all the even numbered clips, so this is the second clip right here, we are just going to zoom in with the scale and position a little bit. We're not going to create any keyframes, but we're just going to zoom in slightly to make it look like it's a little push-in jump cut. So let's take the scale and just increase it a little bit. Not too much. Let's say maybe like 120-ish, somewhere around there. And then let's adjust the position so I move back down to match the eye line. So I'm going to move this back down. So I'm roughly around the same eye line right about there. So you can see now there's a little push-in jump cut between these two clips.
The advanced graphics instructor here. Here you will get to take your knowledge from the intro class.
So again, you see this a lot in YouTube videos and stories and stuff where someone's talking to the camera and there's a lot of these quick jumps where it just jumps back and forth, zooming in and out. And again, this is just to keep the audience engaged. The more rapid we have movement, the more it keeps our attention because our attention spans are very short. So you can do this on every other clip. So this is the zoomed out clip. This one zoomed in, this one zoomed out. So this one, let's zoom in. Let's do the same thing right here. Bring it up to roughly the same spot, and then let's lower it to the same spot right about there. Same thing on the next every other one. Skip every other one so it alternates going back and forth like that. Just like this. There we go. So now you'll see this clip out, in, like that. So it does this back and forth quickly.
And After Effects. These are the tools that real professionals in the industry use, such as videographers, filmmakers, and YouTubers. You will also get to...
So again, not bad. We're still going to add some more stuff to it. We're not done just yet, but this will be the first part of syncing and cutting it down. The next part, we're going to add some B-roll. So once you get to this part, all I want you to do is save it. So hit Control S on your keyboard, make sure you're saving constantly for your project. And then if you go back to the assignment, do not export anything just yet. Wait until we get to the end of this entire thing. So on this one, on part one, once you've saved it and you've completed all of the steps so far, then you can click Turn In on this assignment. Okay, so click Turn In once you've completed everything. But again, do not export or attach any files just yet. Wait until we get to the end. So I'll see you on part 2. Let me know if you have any questions.